It's come to my attention that some of you so-called weebs haven't been watching enough seasonal anime recently, so unless you want your weeb cards revoked, I'd suggest you start simping immediately for all 10 of the waifus on this list. Also, please remember that this list is just my expert opinion. I have a bachelor's degree in anime with a minor in hentai, and I've read over 300 confirmed doujins, so my list is probably a little different than yours, and that's okay. If you want to share your own list in the comments, it doesn't have to be all 10, you can just do your top 3 if you want, but I still read every single comment, so I will see it and I will judge you. For the sake of sportsmanship though, Re:Zero characters have been banned from this video. The same applies to all the characters from this year's Love is War OVA. Those two series have way too many S-tier waifus, it just wouldn't be fair to everyone else. Let's not compare the Egyptian god cards to a bunch of Karibos, gentlemen. I want to keep this video fun and entertaining. But without further ado, number 10. Hori. Hori is an amazing character who actually feels like a genuine person rather than someone's idealistic fictional girlfriend. Some of you might be thinking Hori-san deserves to be much higher on this list, and yeah, I don't disagree, that's a solid point, although, if you were a true simp, then you should know that Hori-san would like it if you placed her at the bottom. Hori-san enjoys being insulted, so just to appease her masochism, I'm gonna place Nagatoro right above her at number 9. For some reason, Nagatoro is a very controversial waifu. I'd say roughly 50% of the otaku population believes Nagatoro is the greatest thing ever. Meanwhile, the other 50% is stupid. Nagatoro was unironically one of the better waifus we've recently been blessed with, and many of those that dislike her only saw the first episode, which was a very poor representation of her actual personality, and because of that first episode, Nagatoro became the primary meme of the spring 2021 season. But if you open your mind and look at her character a bit deeper than that, you'll notice that she also has tan lines. Additionally, she's a pretty decent character for a mostly episodic rom-com. For some reason, this anime felt oddly nostalgic and reminded me of simpler times. I'm not embarrassed to admit that I enjoyed Nagatoro a lot more than I expected to, and as a waifu, I think she deserves a spot on this list. Number 8 is Kate. She's great and I rate her 8 out of 8. Also, she makes me want to masturbate. Okay, wait. So I was gonna pick Emiliko because I love Emiliko, but I feel like she's too pure and innocent to be one of my waifus. However, Kato-sama is basically the opposite of Emiliko, even though I like both of them equally. Kate is very mysterious yet lovable at the same time, and she's definitely qualified to be on this list. In fact, she could have easily been higher than number 8, but it wouldn't have rhymed. If you haven't seen Shadow's House, you're seriously missing out because it's amazing and it gets progressively better. Number 7. Mimimi. Mimimi is one of those blue-haired characters that could have and perhaps should have been the main love interest. The other girls in Tomozaki's anime are also very likable, but Mimimi is the one who demands my attention the most. When Mimimi is happy, I'm happy too. She uplifts the mood of the entire scene whenever she shows up, and I feel like she's that rare type of waifu that would actually be fun to hang out with if she was a real person. So like basically the opposite of Nagatoro. Anyway, if you haven't seen Tomozaki, it's pretty good across the board, but Mimimi alone is enough to make it worth watching. I hereby grant her the title Best Girl. Of the anime she's in, at least. Number 6. Ryo Amakusa. Ryo is the little sister of Koikimo's protagonist, and the only reason she isn't higher on this list is because I couldn't remember her name. Despite not getting nearly enough screen time, Ryo is the best character in Koikimo, which isn't exactly much of an accomplishment, but still. She's the ultimate wingman who goes out of her way to maximize her big brother's happiness, while at the same time making sure her friend is comfortable and safe, without even once worrying about herself. The entire plot of Koikimo is carried on the back of Ryo, but for some reason nobody appreciates her. Nobody except me. Don't worry, Ryo, I'll make sure the author gives you the happy ending you deserve. Not a handjob, but like, you know. Number 5. Nino Nakano. I used to think Yotsuba was the best quintuplet, but seeing Nino animated and hearing her voice actress was just enough to change my mind. I'm not typically the biggest fan of the tsundere type, except for some reason Nino felt different to me. She has one of the best personalities in harem history, and it develops a lot throughout the story. I think Nino's confidence was the highlight of season 2 for me. She's very open compared to the other quints, and just other waifus in general, really. I didn't realize Nino was this amazing back when I was blinded by Yotsuba, but I'm happy to finally be awakened to Nino Nino's brilliance. Yotsuba will always have a special place in my balls, but Nino is officially my favorite quintuplet. Also, I do realize that so far almost all the waifus on this list are canonically still in high school, and I assure you that was entirely accidental. If anyone's hurt by this, I'd like to sincerely apologize from the bottom of my balls. I promise this next waifu is not a high schooler. Number 4. Eris Grey Rat. Whether or not lollies can or should be considered waifus, Eris grows as a character a lot faster than she grows in age, and I believe she belongs in the top 4 by default. I'll admit at first I kinda hated her though. Characters who act like they can go around hitting people without any consequences have always irritated me, but Eris has been growing and developing at the speed of Sonic every single episode since her debut. And now, instead of annoying me, I find Eris lovably obnoxious. Mushoku Tensei is also still in the early stages of the storyline, so there's a ton of space for Eris to continue developing as a character, and I'm really looking forward to that because she's already become one of my favorites from the entire year. But before I reveal my top 3 waifus, I want to remind everyone that it's okay for us to disagree. If you feel like your favorite waifu should have been higher on this list, remember that simply being included on my list at all is a tremendous accomplishment. There was a lot of competition for each of these rankings because in total I've literally seen close to 50 seasonal anime so far this year, and guys, that's a lot. I know some of you might suggest that I go outside and touch some grass, but I actually don't have any grass because this video is sponsored by Manscaped. Hey, David, do you have a giant bush that smells bad and frightens women?
As a matter of fact, yes. My bush hasn't been shaved since the Bush administration.
Well then let me tell you about Manscaped, the premium global brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Finally, us weebs can smell better than normies because Manscaped has the best tools and liquid formulations that'll banish your body odor to the shadow realm. Check out their new trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. That isn't just a clever pun, because with this absolute beast of a trimmer, you can mow an actual lawn if you want to. Other trimmers are dog shit compared to the Lawnmower 4.0. Its S-tier craftsmanship has ceramic blades that use skin-safe technology to reduce cuts, allowing you to shave your balls without losing HP. You see this, David? That's what your balls could look like if you don't use the Lawnmower 4.0.
That looks really painful, but my balls are actually bigger than oranges.
It's even waterproof, so you can shave in the shower using 4 different trimmer guard options for maximum bush customization. Also, the wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like the type of technology our balls deserve. Join over 2 million men worldwide who support Manscaped, the only company you can trust to take care of your pair. Get 20% off plus free international shipping with the promo code Echidnut20 at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Alright, that's enough about balls, let's get back to the titties. Introducing the top 3 waifus of 2021, in 3rd place, Lena. The protagonist of 86 is Major Vladilena Milize, known to some as Handler. I sure would like to handle her. Lena is already an awesome character at the beginning of 86, but she develops a lot in the anime despite the entire first core adapting only 1 light novel volume. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. I really admire how much detail they've put into this adaptation. I'm a huge fan of 86. I think it's one of the best anime this year, actually. And that's mostly because of Lena. She's like the perfect role model and just someone who's way too good for the environment she's surrounded by. Strong female characters are generally a rarity in anime, so they tend to stand out to me a lot, especially when they're as well written as Lena. One of the best anime characters of the year, Lena definitely deserves to be this high on the list. And not that it matters too much, but she's a healthy mix between hot and cute. In a way, her appearance kinda reminds me of the light novel version of Echidna, so I might have to change my name to Lenut. Number 2. Vivi. Whoa, okay, settle down, gentlemen. Please remain calm. I know how you must feel right now. You thought Vivi was gonna be in 1st place, and now you're confused, angry, and blue-balled. I get that. Truly, that's a totally reasonable and valid expectation. Vivi is by far the most iconic, most impactful, and most obvious choice for waifu of the year. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Vivi ends up becoming one of the default waifus that every weeb has at birth. I'll even go as far as saying that Vivi deserves the number 1 spot more than any other waifu this year. So with that said, I will not fault anyone who put Vivi at the top of their own personal lists. If you have Vivi in your number 1 spot, you most certainly have good taste. I just happen to have better taste. But hey, in case anyone hasn't seen this amazing anime, Vivi is an anatomically correct humanoid AI that wants to save the world. And also she sings. But even as a robot, Vivi has more personality than 99% of anime characters and even some people I know in real life. Vivi's dedication to what she cares about and her dynamics with the other characters are super profound, yet they aren't even the highlights of the anime. The shockingly good production quality is mind-boggling and it complements the characters brilliantly. Vivi herself was already awesome individually, but what made her stand out so much was the intensity of the care that went into making this anime special. If the vast selection of beautiful screenshots on your Twitter feed haven't yet convinced you to watch Vivi, then let me introduce you to the author instead. This is the guy that wrote ReZero. He's one of the most brilliant minds on the entire planet, and his writing is probably from a different planet. I actually had to ban ReZero from this video because the author created way too many S-tier characters that would have dominated this entire list. So yeah, Vivi is incredible, both the anime and the waifu herself, but despite Vivi's brilliance, I am a biased man. I'll say it again, Vivi deserves to be number one, but I just have my own personal preferences, and I hope that you guys can accept me for who I am. My pick for the number one waifu of the year is one that will surprise you and potentially even upset you. For that reason, I'm going to stall for as long as I can by honorably mentioning the following honorable mentions. Toru Honda was left out simply because I'm not yet caught up with Fruits Basket. Toru should have been somewhere on this list, but if I rank her now before I'm caught up, I feel like I'll place her too low. Fruits Basket seems to be getting progressively better, so I just didn't want to give her a ranking that I'd later regret. Kumoko, an awesome character with a hilarious personality and an amazing voice actress, Kumoko has all the qualities of a waifu, except she's a spider, and I'm sorry, I just can't fuck a spider. To be fair, I've never tried, but I just prefer humans or at least something that resembles a human. I'm sorry if I offended anyone who identifies as a spider, but I just don't have the urge to, pick up a cute spider with both hands and start using it like a fleshlight. Violently. Rimuru is another one I left out because although slimes are typically genderless, Rimuru still identifies as a guy, so that would make him a husbando instead of a waifu. Either way, I would still have sex with him. And that concludes the honorable mentions. Now, it's time for the dishonorable mentions. Emma, Gabby, Sayu's mom, and Ichika. Number 1. Roxy. The best waifu of 2021 is Roxy Megurdia from Mushoku Tensei. Without a doubt, she is the winner of my top 10 list. I love Roxy more than Vivi, and although Vivi may deserve this spot, my top 10 list should be based entirely upon my own personal preferences, and in that case, the number 1 spot absolutely goes to Roxy. Even though she got basically 0 screen time after the first 2 episodes, I couldn't stop thinking about her for the entire season. She left a good enough impression to assure that I'll never forget her, and I'm always extremely hyped whenever she does make the occasional rare appearance. To her credit, Roxy has a lot of similarities with Mona from Genshin Impact, but she also kinda feels like Megumin's final evolution at the same time. She's a literal goddess with every character trait that equals perfection, and it feels like so long ago, but I still remember the exact moment I fell in love with Roxy. 2 minutes into the second episode. I don't normally buy anime figures. I think it's pretty stupid how overpriced they always are, but if they keep making Roxy figures, I'm gonna be fucking homeless because I just go monkey brain every time I see her. Roxy is the only character in Mushoku Tensei that I've searched for hentai of, and let me tell you, Roxy hentai is a lot like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. I'm normally a big fan of witches, and Roxy is not a witch, but if you consider her hat, magic powers, gender, and personality, I'd say she's more than qualified. What I like most about Roxy, though, is how normal she is. Her dialogue, attitude, and reactions are strangely realistic for a fictional demon mage. The author clearly didn't try to make her more special than the average character, yet she feels like she is. It reminded me that beauty hides in plain sight, and it can always be found in abundance within even the most ordinary people. Practically any character could have fulfilled Roxy's role in the main story so far, but she just happened to be there instead and proved that any waifu can be worth simping for. Mushoku Tensei is a wonderful anime, and I'm very thankful I got to experience the glory of Roxyism. I'll be honest, my opinions on waifus do change all the time, but this one probably won't. Unless Roxy herself personally slaps my mother, kills my dog, and breaks my computer, I don't think I'm gonna stop simping for her anytime soon. Many of you might not agree that Roxy is the best waifu of 2021, but that's fine with me, because I didn't want to share her anyway. If you want to fuck Vivi instead, be my guest. She is a robot though, so I hope you enjoy getting electrocuted when you nut on her. Roxy, however, is a water mage, so she won't have any issues getting wet. But before you go searching for Roxy hentai, remember to leave a comment with your top waifus of 2021. It doesn't have to be 10 of them, but I do want to know at least your top 3. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it to the end, please give it a like before you go. I'll have some summer 2021 videos coming soon, so subscribe if you want to catch those. I'm out for now though. Keep talking about waifus. Peace out.